In this video, you will learn about comparing rational numbers. So we're going to figure out if fractions are equal or if one fraction is bigger or smaller than another fraction. So for equal fractions, another name we could use would be equivalent fractions, which basically means that two or more fractions are the same even though they may look different. For example, we know that 1/2 is the same as 2/4, and that's the same as 3/6, etc. So we're familiar with equal or equivalent fractions, but if you had to determine if a fraction is bigger than another fraction, how would we go about doing that? So here we have two fractions, 8/9 or 5/6. So to determine which fraction is bigger, we need to have a common denominator. So here the least common denominator can be found by finding the least common multiple of 9 and 6. So multiples of 9 would be 9, 18, 27, etc. And then 6 would be 6, 12, 18, 24, etc. So the least common multiple is going to be 18. That's the smallest one they have in common. So your least common denominator is 18. So 8/9 I need to rewrite as something over 18. So the denominator goes from 9 to 18, and I multiply to get to 18, so 9 times 2. Do the same thing for the top. 8 times 2 would be 16. So that fraction is 16/18. And then 5/6, write that as something over 18. 6 times 3 is 18, so 5 times 3 would give me 15 for the numerator. So based off those numbers, we see that 16/18 would be bigger than 15/18. So because of that, the number 16/18, or 8/9, would be bigger than 5/6. Alright, so that is how we determine, and that should be a 5/6 instead. Alright, so 8/9 is bigger than 5/6. So this is the long way. I'm going to show one more example like this, where here we have 7/4 and then 14/9. So we need a common denominator, and that's going to be 36. That's the smallest one. So I rewrite each of these fractions as something over 36. So 4 times 9 is 36. 7 times 9 would give me 63 on the top. The other fraction, 9 times 4 is 36. 14 times 4 is 56. So my two fractions would be 63/36 and 56/36. And clearly the 63 is bigger than 56, so therefore the first fraction is bigger. In the first fraction, the equivalent expression of this was 7/4. So 7/4 is bigger than 14/9. So that is the long way. There's a shortcut way where I take each fraction and I'm kind of like cross multiplying. So I take the 7 on the top, multiply it with the 9 on the bottom. Multiply across 7 times 9, then multiply across the 14 times 4. And then I compare those numbers. So 63 would be this left side. Over here, that's 56. And so I determine which of those are bigger, and 63 is bigger than 56. So therefore, that first fraction is bigger than the second fraction. So whatever sign I'd put in here to make this true, that's the sign I'm going to put in here to make this fraction true. So therefore, 7/4 is greater than 14/9. Here's another example. Which is bigger, 5/12 or 13/30? So I multiply the 5 times 30, put that on the left side, and then 12 times 13, put that on the right side. Whatever inequality I put in between to make this statement true will be the same inequality I put to make the fractions true. So 5 times 30 is 150, 12 times 13 is 156, 150 is smaller than 156, so therefore that same inequality sign is going to be what goes in between the fractions. So 5/12 is smaller than 13 over 30. One more example, but this one has negatives. So if you see a negative, put the negative in with the numerator. So instead of this, you would have -3 on the top and 4 on the bottom. And the negative put with the 10 and then 11 on the bottom. So here, do the same thing. I multiply across, -3 times 11, put that on the left side. 4 times -10, put that on the right side. When I multiply, I have -33 on the left, -40 on the right. -33 is bigger than -40, so -3/4 is bigger than -10 over 11. And then if it's not written like this, where it's just a regular fraction, for example, if you have a mixed number, make sure you put it as an improper fraction first. So the 5 and 5/9 I can write as an improper fraction. So I take 5 times 9 plus this 5, that gives me 50, and then put that over the 9. So I have 50 over 9 on the left, 53 over 8 on the right, and to determine which one is bigger, I multiply across 50 times 8, and then 53 times 9. 50 times 8 is 400, 53 times 9 is 477. 400 is smaller than 477, so 5 and 5/9 is smaller than 53 over 8. And that concludes our lesson for today. We will see you next time.